Mermaids, mythical creatures with the upper body of a woman and a fish's tail instead of legs. Mermaid mythology can be found all over the world, and mermaid lore teaches us that mermaids are irresistible, beautiful, benevolent, mischievous, and at times downright mean. Their voices are said to be so attractive that they mesmerize humans, especially men, and sometimes they even capture them and claim them for their own. Of course, that doesn't always turn out the best, and the human typically does drown once they've been underwater too long. Well, at least that's what they say. Now, unless you've personally known someone who's been captured and killed by a mermaid, then this can all be propaganda to discourage us from revering and venerating these beautiful beings. Or maybe they do have a savage side. Did you know that while mermaids come from the water, they are not all the same? In fact, they're all a little bit different. Today we will explore the lore of mermaids, who made such a great splash that we are still talking about them hundreds and thousands of years later. Greek and Roman mythology hold the largest mermaid influence, but the oldest mermaid mythology that was actually written down, it originated in the East, in Mesopotamia, around 1000 BCE, with the tale of Atargatis. Atargatis is a mother goddess, a fertility goddess, and a fish goddess, also known as the mother of the gods. She represents fertility, love, origins and rebirth, transformation, new beginnings, and beauty. Her lore is spread far and wide, and there is evidence that Atargatis was worshipped under many different names, such as Lady Goddess of the Sea, Aphrodite, Ashera, Hera, and many other mother goddesses. In some versions of her origins, Atargatis was born from an egg that fell from the stars into the Euphrates. She was pushed ashore by sacred fish, who eventually become known as the constellation Pisces. Once her egg was on shore, it is said that her egg was incubated by a dove. The dove is held sacred by many mother goddesses and is a divine symbol in the story of Noah's Ark. Atargatis was the HGIC, the head goddess in charge, and she had multiple temples dedicated to her. Her temples were said to have a divine odor unlike any other, and they were often adorned with gold statues and giant phalluses. On the grounds of her temples, there are ponds in which sacred ceremonies are performed, and these ponds, they house her beloved fish. Her priests, well, they castrated themselves in devotion to the goddess, becoming eunuchs who spent their lives tending to her temples, and they were the only ones allowed to attend to her sacred fish. Now, depending on the mythology, Atargatis either fell in love with or was raped by a mortal shepherd named Adad. Now, Adad, as a mortal, was not able to withstand such intimate relations with a goddess, and he was killed in the process, but not before a beautiful baby was conceived. In some versions of her mythology, Atargatis attempted suicide in her grief over Adad's death by jumping into a lake. While other versions of her mythology, they say that she was so ashamed of being impregnated by a mere mortal that she dove into a lake or a river and drowned. Now, Adad had experienced something that the average human man had not. And of course, this instantly made him a legend. His sexual relations with a mother goddess, it ensured that his death was not in vain. Adad's legend would carry on, first as her consort, then as a deity of thunderstorms, and eventually, Atargatis' worship is redirected to Adad, who through various names goes on to become one of the most popular gods in the world. In every version of her mythology, Atargatis' beauty and her divinity kept her from dying, and instead of drowning, she became one with the water. Her upper body and her beauty, it remained the same, while the lower half of her body transformed into that of a fish's tail. And the beautiful baby? Well, she is the legendary Semiramis, the ancient queen of Assyria. Semiramis, she founded her mother's temple at Hierapolis. She built the mighty walls and gates of Babylon, and she was a beast in the discipline of war, conquering a very large portion of Asia and the world. Like her mother, Semiramis is often represented as half woman and half fish. But Semiramis, well, she deserves her own episode. Atargatis is a thought-provoking representative of the divine feminine powers of water. She leaves us with some very important shadow aspects to journey through in life, such as death and despair, guilt and suicide, widowhood and unwanted pregnancy, as well as endings. In my opinion, it makes perfect sense for the mother of the gods to be a mermaid. Because you see, M is for mother, just as M is for mermaid. And the letter M, it comes directly from the Egyptian hieroglyph depicting water. If you find yourself working with Atargatis, you might consider leaving an offering for her sacred fish as a sign of good measure. Or you could even volunteer on some water preservation and cleanup efforts. Oh, wait, and don't forget about the doves that incubated her egg. If you're in an urban area and you don't think you see a dove, feed the pigeons. They're society's unrecognized and rejected doves.